What's up guys, my name is Evan, welcome to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to be taking you guys through an interesting thought experiment. This experiment is hopefully going to allow you to get a better understanding on the nature of thought, the nature of your mind, and also the nature of awareness. This thought experiment comes from a spiritual pathway known as non-duality. And non-duality is similar to philosophy in a lot of ways. It's centered around understanding the nature of reality and the nature of the mind, the nature of awareness. And this whole thought experiment revolves around the central question of who am I? And who we essentially are, all of us at our core, are pure awareness. And this thought experiment is designed to help you understand that experientially rather than as some kind of philosophical or mental construct, rather as an experiential knowingness. You can see it for yourself with this simple thought experiment. So the primary question, other than who am I, is what is my next thought going to be? And when you pose this question to the mind with honesty and sincerity, what you'll notice is that when you ask this question to the mind, it goes blank. The mind falls silent in the wake of this question. It doesn't know how to answer this question. The mind doesn't know what its next thought is going to be until it appears within your awareness. This is very interesting. If you ask yourself this question now, what is my next thought going to be? And you sit in silence and you wait, simply wait and observe, you'll notice that the mind goes quiet. It's kind of dumbfounded. This question is like a monkey wrench to the mind. It doesn't know what its next thought is going to be until it appears in your awareness. And so what does this mean? Well, this essentially means that a lot of the thoughts that we are thinking are a byproduct of our conditioning. They're a byproduct of our past, and they're a byproduct of knowledge that we have accumulated throughout our life. But one of the fundamental things about the mind is that it cannot anticipate the future, and it cannot anticipate its next thought. It cannot be one step ahead of its own thinking process. And so you might ask then, where do thoughts come from? Why are there so many thoughts appearing in my mind? Why are they here? Well, the answer to this, and this comes from my studying of non-duality and also from my own experimentation with psychedelics, with 5-MeO-DMT, ayahuasca, and mushrooms, I've come to peel back the layers of my mind, the layers of my conditioning, to get to the deeper awareness, to see the truth of who I am at my core, and which is fundamentally the same as who you are at your core. Thoughts come from an energy field. There are certain energy fields here on this planet. And if you look up the Map of Consciousness by David R. Hawkins, you'll have a visual representation of what it is that I'm talking about here. So I highly recommend that you do that. Pause the video now and take a look at it, or look it up after this video is over. But the Map of Consciousness shows a gradient of different energy fields, different frequencies, and different emotional and mental states that are correspondent with the frequency. And so thoughts then are not a byproduct of our personal mind. Thoughts are an impersonal consequence of the energy field that your consciousness is entrained with. Our mind, our brain, acts like a radio receiver. And what do I mean by that? Well, what a radio essentially does is it tunes in to certain frequencies so that it can receive a certain bandwidth and then translates that frequency into the music or the person speaking that you hear on the radio. And our mind does this exact same thing. Our consciousness is entrained with a certain energy frequency, and that energy field has certain thoughts that are correlated with that energy. And so when we ask the question, what is my next thought going to be, there is a break in the stream of consciousness so that we are no longer completely identified with the thinking mind. There is then a break, and you become the witness observer, and you become the pure awareness. And then as you observe, you'll notice that when you ask this question, the mind doesn't know what the next thought is going to be. The next thought automatically arises without you knowing what the next thought is going to be, as a consequence of the energy field that your consciousness is entrained with. This is a very powerful and profound understanding, because a lot of the times we get really hard on ourselves and think about why we're thinking a certain way, why our thoughts aren't like you could say pure or loving. We'll have like angry or vengeful thoughts. And it's really important to notice that these thoughts that you think that you're thinking you're not really thinking them at all. These thoughts are merely appearing in your awareness as a consequence of the energy field that your mind is entrained with. And in spirituality, if you're into the spiritual community, you'll hear a lot of people talking about raising your vibration. And raising your vibration just essentially means that your consciousness begins to entrain and tune into higher frequencies. And so as you raise your vibration, you become entrained with these higher frequencies. Your thoughts then will reflect the energy field that you are in. If you're in the energy field of love, you will have loving thoughts. If you're in the energy field of reason, your thoughts will correspond with reason and logic. If you're in the energy field of courage, then you'll have thoughts of affirmation, like I can do this is possible for me. If you're in the energy field of anger, then you'll obviously have angry thoughts. Fear correlates with fearful thoughts. And it's not such like a very black and white layering, You can be kind of like in several different energy fields at the same time. There can be vibrations in your consciousness of anger, and at the same time also courage and willingness and higher vibrations. So this is like what we do through spiritual purification, is we learn how to let go and surrender the lower vibrational thoughts, so then we become more higher vibrational, and our consciousness entrains with the higher frequencies. But this exercise essentially shows you that you are not thinking your thoughts. You don't have to be so hard on yourself about the thoughts that are going through your head. This works well also for anxiety. It shows you that anxiety, the rumination and the racing thoughts that are going through your head are really just a consequence of the trapped emotional energy in your body. If you have a lot of fearful energy stuck in your body, then you're going to be on that vibrational wavelength of fear, and your thoughts will correspond with that energy field. It's a very interesting thought experiment. I really encourage you guys to sit with this. Ask yourself the question, what is my next thought going to be? And as you sit with it, it will allow you to begin to differentiate your awareness from your thinking mind. There's a disidentification that happens when you sit through this process. Your awareness becomes disidentified from your thinking mind, and the more disidentified you become with your thinking mind, the more power you have over your mind. You begin to recognize, I am not my mind. And so when you're not your mind, you then have the ability to observe it and choose which thoughts to engage with. When you are completely and totally identified with your thoughts and there is no separation between your awareness and your thinking mind, then you're totally at the mercy of whatever thoughts are going through your head. But if you can disidentify from your thinking mind, create that space within yourself so that you recognize yourself as pure awareness, and you're not completely and totally identified with your mind, then you are in a more powerful position to choose what thoughts to think, to choose what energies to engage with. It's a much more powerful and graceful position to be in. And so I hope that this video helped you guys. If it did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay tuned for more content like this. I hope that you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Stay blessed. Peace.